now TMZ has acquired 25 minutes of surveillance video from multiple cameras in and around that downtown alley. If you're not up to speed on any of this, police say Sanchez pulled Perry Toll out of his truck for reasons still very much a mystery and began fighting with him. Perry Toll is 69 years old and told police that he tried to pepper spray the former 38-year-old quarterback. When the pepper spray didn't work, he says he pulled a knife instead to defend himself and stabbed that much younger, much bigger man. Somehow the driver also ended up terribly, terribly injured with a very deep gash to his face that apparently went so deep it cut his tongue. He was taken to the hospital, and so was that former football player, Mark Sanchez. But some new video tonight hints that Sanchez may have been very, very drunk. And remember, that is one of the charges. But the video doesn't come close to answering why. Why a popular ex-footballer and TV analyst allegedly picked a near-fatal fight with an elderly man in a back alley. The footage starts at 12:05 a.m., October 4th, with Perry Toll driving that truck right there down into the alleyway. See him turning in? He parks the truck out of the camera's view, so we don't know whether he and Sanchez even saw each other at that point, but you can see him passing that dumpster. 7 minutes later, Mark Sanchez walks out of the alley. He's heading north, passes the dumpster, you see him there, and he's not yet injured and not seemingly agitated or stressed. He does move kind of slowly, deliberately, kind of looks around that dumpster, which is odd. He seems a little unsure on his feet as well. When he gets to the end of that alley, he ends up turning right onto the sidewalk. But about 90 seconds later, he re-enters the frame, walking in the opposite direction. He walks towards the alley, but he decides not to go down into the alley. He walks out of the camera's view again, but again, he's aimlessly walking in this opposite direction. 6 minutes go by, and then Mark Sanchez returns, comes back this way. And then he does something sort of strange. He seems out of it, he's crossing that street, and he leans up against a wall. Feels like he needs to sort of steady himself and lean up against the wall, kind of out of the camera's view at the entrance to that alleyway. Look at that person on the right. Mark's just off camera. The guy on the right there, another person's walking past him. They kind of look like they're talking to each other. It almost looks as though this guy is like saying, "You all right? Hey, buddy, you okay?" I'm not sure because we don't have audio. But the other guy moves on, and that is when Mark Sanchez decides to start going for a jog. And he jogs into the alley. He jogs along, then he decides to pause at the dumpster in his jogging, which is odd, again. And he jogs towards Perry Toll's truck. Again, the truck is parked. Here he goes, jogging, but Perry's truck is parked out of view of the camera, so we don't see what happens next. But police say this is the time, 12:25 a.m. until 12:30 a.m., that Mark Sanchez pulls Toll out of his truck and begins fighting. At 12:30, Sanchez is then seen running out of the alley and again taking that right turn onto the sidewalk that he did before. But now it's very different. Now he's really got something wrong with him, right? You can see his hand going up to his chest there. He's not walking easily. His shirt is visibly stained there with blood, and that's possibly blood from Perry Toll, but much of it certainly from his own wounds right there. 7 minutes after that, the Indianapolis police and firefighters converge on the scene and they close it off to the public. Mr. Perry Toll is wheeled out on a gurney at 12:47 a.m. and Mark Sanchez is off to the hospital as well.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.